Hello, everybody. Welcome to this awesomeness stream of our review of Kung Fu Panda 4. You know who we are, you know what we do. But first things first, I wanted to get this off the table. We were going to do a review, but then we decided not to. But might as well do a quick one now. Two of us in this group did see the infamous film, The American Society of Magical Negroes. What did you guys think of it?
It sucked.
It sucked.
Okay, let's move on.
And they
Kung Fu
saved
Panda
the rest
4.
of us from seeing it.
Let's move on. Kung Fu Panda 4. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. It has been 8 years since the previous Kung Fu Panda film, so it was certainly interesting that we got news a couple years back that we would be getting a fourth film. Will this reach the highest of awesomeness, or will this fall into the cardinal sin of animated fourth films started by Pixar? Well, you'll find out soon. So let's get into it. Many returned from the previous venture of Kung Fu Panda 3 and 2 and 1. Jack Black, Dustin Hoffman, Ian McShane, Bryan Cranston, and James Hong. And they are all spectacular once again. They strike that perfect balance of humor and seriousness that the Kung Fu Panda films always manage to provide. New voices include Viola Davis as the chameleon, who is just as excellent as she normally is. Definitely reminds me of Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2, where she can be scary but funny at the same time. You had Ronnie Chiang as the fish, who was also very funny despite his rather small role. Ke Huy Quan as Han, loving this amazing comeback from him, and here he was also quite good. However, unsurprisingly, the one performance that doesn't mesh is Awkwafina as Zhen. Hey, look, Awkwafina is the weakest part in a movie. What a shock to absolutely no one. I think she came off as more annoying than endearing throughout most of the running time. She was fine by the end, but I'm just so sick of seeing her everywhere. She's like the Harley Quinn of comedians, pushing it on everybody so much so that even just people get sick of her so fucking quickly, but we have to eventually just say, fine, I guess. She's apparently not going anywhere, so we're stuck with her. She can be good once in a blue moon, like I've heard in The Farewell she was quite good from a drama sense, or even Jumanji, The Next Level, but just so fucking sick of her at this point. The rest of the movie is pretty much all great. The animation is still absolutely wonderful and beautiful in all the right ways. The fight scenes to the scenery is all brilliantly showcased, aka how CGI animation should be used. It was paced and edited rather well, maybe a bit too quick in the first half and then a bit too slow in the second half, causing a bit of tonal whiplash, but still quite good. While the movie seems cliched and tropey, I feel that kind of worked with the story they were telling. Because the first one was the same way, a very traditional master using untraditional methods to reach his problem child student. With those methods, he eventually does what he does to consider himself a victor in a place called the Valley. The Karate Kid says hello. But because those cliches have been done before doesn't make the film bad. Not at all. Even though I really don't like Awkwafina, I like this story of Poe becoming the teacher while also evolving his character even further, becoming greater than he was before, and not, dumping him to the side for the better in every conceivable way female hero and treating him like shit. I am excited that I'm excited for both of those journeys if this eventually gets the two sequels that were envisioned for this next trilogy, as well as Zhen's journey because she was starting to grow on me towards the end. Hopefully my hatred of Awkwafina can subside and let me enjoy the writing of the character. So I guess it's safe to say, Pixar, for the love of fucking God, stop at 3. Meanwhile, DreamWorks,
You are my number one guy.
keep doing what you're doing. 8 out of 10.
1 second.
Austin, you go.
I have to get one thing.
All right. It is.
I am here. It's okay, baby.
Christ,
They
all
can't
right.
hurt you anymore. They can't hurt you anymore. Okay. So I think it's safe to say that of all the DreamWorks franchises, I've grown to love Kung Fu Panda the most. I'll just speed run through what I think of the other three movies. I absolutely love all of them. I think I love the first one the most just because, we didn't think it was going to be good, but it was great. The second film, while not my favorite, I adore how it delves deep into Poe's past, and plus, Lord Shen is the best villain in the series, as well as the best DreamWorks villain, period. Three, I like how they introduced Poe's dad and the Panda Village, and so yeah. Kung Fu Panda 4, though, let's get into that. There was a point where I thought this was unnecessary, but then I heard that this is the start of a new trilogy where he's going to become the master, evolving from the student. So I was like, okay, maybe there's something we can do here. But what I was afraid of was, oh, they're just going to treat him like shit, make him look incompetent to make the new successor look good. Love and Thunder! But thankfully, they don't do that. I thought Kung Fu Panda 4 was a blast. While my least favorite of the four, I will say that, I think it does wonders to keep evolving the characters and the narrative. Here we see Poe in arguably the most vulnerable he's been since the first film. Much like how in the first film he had no idea what to do about Kung Fu, here he's tasked with being the leader, the master, and he has no idea what to do. So it was great seeing him have this journey of learning how to evolve and accept change. And yes, everyone jokes about Aquafina, but I greatly enjoyed her character here. I liked the backstory they gave her and the dynamic that she had with the chameleon. Speaking of the chameleon, while not my favorite villain of the series, like I said, Lord Shen, as far as the abilities of the villain and what all the villains are able to do, on those fronts, I think the chameleon is my favorite villain in that sense. The way she's able to morph and change into all the different characters, and plus her plot of stealing all the chi, I guess, so all the kung fu abilities from past villains. I dig it, and I like how they brought Tai Lung back. That's both a positive and a negative, which I will get into in a second. But I do like what they did here with Tai Lung, like evolving him from this asshole to then sort of accepting Poe as the Dragon Warrior at the end. I think the development there fits because of what we saw about his past with Master Shifu in the first film. He wasn't always a bad person. So I've heard a lot of people complain about that bit with Tai Lung at the end, but I think because of his past in the first film, I think it fits. So what else? Now going into my negatives. As I said before, they bring back Tai Lung, which is awesome. But at the same time, he doesn't have a whole lot to do. My expectations and hopes from the film when I heard that he was coming back were that I thought he was actually going to be along with Poe and them on the journey. Which I think if they did that, maybe it could have added more to evolving and changing him as a person. And then the other negatives, they bring back other villains like Lord Shen and what was his name from the third film? Kai, Lord Kai, I think. But they don't bring the voice actors back, so thus they have no lines, which I thought that was weird. I like that they bring the characters back, because if the chameleon's stealing all their abilities and all that, yeah. So I like the premise. I just thought it was weird how Tai Lung was the only one that had any bits of dialogue. Because especially these would be the other two big villains that Poe faces throughout the series, you'd think they'd have something to say too. So I thought it was weird how they were just silent. But negatives aside, that's not enough to deter this film for me. Again, while it is my least favorite of the four, I do think Kung Fu Panda 4 is a worthwhile sequel that I do think has a purpose with existing. Again, because it's the start of a new trilogy. 1 through 3 were the student trilogy, and 4 through 6 are the master trilogy. So I am invested enough in seeing where the rest of the trilogy is going to go. While it is the weakest of the four, Kung Fu Panda 4 does just enough to keep evolving the characters and the narrative, So with that, I will give it a 7.5 out of 10. And wow, that is probably my most cohesive and focused review I've given so far.
all right. Let's keep the positive momentum going. So, actually, well, first let me pull up my review. So, coming off the high that was Dune 2 in the theater, I now have to sit through the sequel to Kung Fu Panda 3, Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, was this the greatest film in the franchise? No. But was it bad? No. It was just good. Not great, not bad, not groundbreaking, nor was it unwatchably bad. Just good. Let's start with the positives. The animation, again, is great. Again, we're kind of beating a dead horse here with the animation, but the animation was very good, and the action is really well shot. There was one fight in particular where Poe is fighting the guards and it having like that stylish look of where you have like that really bright white background and it's very shadowy in terms of the movements. I thought that looked really nice and very stylish. The voice acting is pretty good all around, except for one individual, which I'll get into in a second. However, Jack Black as Poe was once again great, as well as Viola Davis as the Chameleon. Even though her character was a bit one note, her performance was great. The story, while predictable and kind of just cliche, it was fine. It was enjoyable. I did like the idea of Poe having to pass the torch and having to find a successor. Was a fine way of starting off this new trilogy arc for Poe, and seeing Tai Lung was cool, as he's probably my favorite antagonist of the series, and him showing respect to Poe kind of does wrap up his character fairly nicely. The credits where we see the Furious 5 train with Zen was a nice throwback, and the humor was fairly good. However, this film was not perfect. Let's get this out of the way, because once again, we're going to beat a dead horse here. She, while not as unbearable as she was in Renfield, Aquafina was just annoying. Like, she at points just came off as very annoying. Her character was just a very bland character. And just for the most part, it's just, she was just there. Like, she was fine, but again, could have been just done better. The Chameleon, while great in voice acting and design, was just a pretty cookie cutter villain in terms of motivation. Especially, and they try to give her an emotional like backstory and give her like a motivation, but it comes off forced, especially with how they do it. Especially when they're like, "Oh, I wasn't accepted for my size, even though fucking Mantis is like this tiny little bug creature. Yeah, you can do kung fu." Makes no sense. The story is very predictable. Like I said, it goes about the way you would expect. New villain. Oh, Poe meets Zen. They don't trust each other. Then Poe and her eventually become friends. And then that turns into Zen betrays Poe and is revealed, oh, I was working with the villain all along until there's a redemption. And then Poe beats the villain. It's same old stuff. And it's fine, but it didn't feel organic, and at points it just felt like I was going through the motions and not really watching a like I wasn't surprised by any of it. It was just a very like going through the motions film. Lastly, I felt the whole side plot with Lee and Ping just felt like it was there for time. Like a lot of it felt, I wouldn't say forced, but a lot of it just felt very like unneeded. Like it was just there to kind of again move the plot along. And also the explanation for why the Furious Five are not in the film is just very bleh. That's all I gotta say about that. Other than that, it's a fun animated film, and like I said, it's not my favorite in the series, nor is it groundbreakingly good or this amazing jaw-dropping film. That's Dune 2. This was just a enjoyable animated film, and we got two more films in this trilogy, so maybe my opinion will change once we see the other two films. Other than that, it's good. I recommend it, but I would say it's more of a film that you wait to see on streaming, not necessarily don't go to the theater to see it. If you want to go to a theater to go watch a groundbreakingly great film, go watch Dune 2. If you want a good family film, maybe wait till Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. But other than that, Kung Fu Panda 4, yeah, it's just good. I recommend it. 7 out of 10.
All right, looks like you're gonna get another classic winger review from Cinematic Sterling. Guys, well, I work on Saturdays. I was tired. I didn't feel like typing a review. Then I kept forgetting to. But anyway, I guess to give a brief rundown of how I feel about the Kung Fu Panda movies, I enjoy all of them. I think the first two. I think the first one's very good. I think the second one is great. Shut up, Lenny! I fucking hate my dog sometimes. But anyway, I think the second one is great. The third one's fine, and this one also follows under the category of fine. Not anything groundbreaking, but it's there. Oh my fucking god, goddamn dog. Rob, go to you. Rob, go to Rob real quick. I gotta calm my dog down.
All right then. So let me pull up my review real quick. Okay. Okay, so Kung Fu Panda 4. Let me start off saying that I do really enjoy the previous 3 Kung Fu Panda movies. I like the first one. Second one is my favorite. And third one, I actually do enjoy, even though it wasn't as strong as the first 2. But I'll say that even though I enjoy those movies, I was kind of skeptical about a 4th entry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it that the director and DreamWorks, they had a plan for a 6-movie deal, but I honestly just thought that third one probably would have been a good note to conclude on. And even the trailers, I just kind of wonder, like, do we still need to have post-story keep going? I will say that this one, I'm kind of with Devin right here. It's not the 4th one is not a bad film. It's just okay. But it is the weakest, in my opinion, of the series so far. I mean, maybe things might change with 5 and 6. I don't know. But, I mean, let's go ahead and get the positives out of the way. Of course, the animation is just as impressive as the previous films. Of course, the movement of the characters, the use of colors, it's just all wonderful. The action scenes were a fun time. Jack Black he's still hilarious as Poe. He still has his funny moments. I do like Viola Davis's. I do like Viola Davis playing the villain, although I did have kind of a problem, which I'll get to in a second. But I think I like a lot of the other cast. Like a lot of the other cast, that think they did a really good job. There is one exception, and I think she was mentioned, but I'll get to her in a soon. When it comes to my negatives, I thought that it was very predictable. A lot of moments I did see coming a mile away. You go through, as Austin said, you go through the motions. You go through the whole new character betrays the main character, and then they start to feel bad, and then the whole breakup, like the whole "we're not friends" kind of thing, and then of course they come and make him and save the day. It goes through the motions, especially at the end. I also wasn't a fan of Awkwafina's character. I'm honestly not an Awkwafina fan to begin with. I just find it just seems she gets kind of annoying. And it was no exception here. I just thought her character just came across as very annoying. And there were just moments I just wanted to smack her. So, and another thing is that I did say I had a problem with the villain. It's more of the motivation kind of thing. It's just, I wasn't really, I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but it just seems kind of very cookie cutter. If it feels kind of like we've seen this kind of motivation before. It's like, oh, they want power, or they want to steal the powers of other villains. You know, it's just like, I mean, I don't know. This movie just, like I said, this movie is not bad, but I don't know. Maybe if I have a 6. Maybe things might turn around. I don't know, but it's just I wasn't. This one I just found okay. If you want to see this movie, I would say at best, like wait for streaming, or at best a matinee price. I'm sure kids will enjoy it. Like if you like the first 3 Kung Panda movies, maybe this one. I don't know, but then again, like I said, I like the other 3. It's just this one. This one was okay, so I don't know. But anyway, my rating is a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
John,
He might
John?
do you freeze?
Oh shit!
He froze.
Someone screenshot it.
The death chill. He got the death chill.
That is very interesting.
I must ponder this. I must ponder what I'm thinking here.
What do I gotta do in this crazy little thing called life?
I'll tell you what. Devin, do you want to go ahead and give your review?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Where was I when I left off?
You just said it was just okay.
And you were talking about the first 3, Chris?
Yeah, this one's just okay. A little unnecessary, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Acting, for the most part, is good. Jack Black is still awesome as Poe. Dustin Hoffman is awesome. Viola Davis, she's great as the chameleon. Action scenes are fun. There are plenty of funny moments. And not gonna lie, I kind of dug the Tenacious D's cover of "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time," which is probably going to be the only Tenacious D song that a child will be allowed to hear. But other than that, like, I felt this movie was like really unnecessary. Like, it didn't really have a purpose to exist. Aquafina, we have all said it on this show. We've made it very clear we don't like Aquafina. We think she's annoying, and yeah, she's really annoying in this. Story, I didn't feel the story was really anything special. And I thought it was disappointing how the Furious 5 didn't show up until like the credits. Like, really? That was lame. This review is short and rambling because honestly, I thought this movie was a little forgettable. But that's just me. If you're a fan of these movies, maybe you'll like this one. If you're curious, I'd say wait for streaming. Maybe take the kids to a matinee. I mean, my little sister liked it, so that made me feel good, I guess. 6 out of 10.
Man, all the Aquafina hate. Am I the only one who likes her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's good in movies. We can't act like she doesn't have any good movies at all. Ryan the Last Dragon.
It's
That
Zach,
movie was
like,
okay at
Watch
best.
that movie.
Zach,
Did
that's like
anybody watch that movie?
I did.
I
It
did.
was okay.
It was all right.
I'm actually gonna go out on a limb and say I actually think this is her best role. I actually think this is.
That's a low bar.
Say
yeah,
much.
it's very
I
low.
actually think this is a franchise and a character that best suits her. Like I don't know. I'll admit she kind of felt out of place in Renfield, but I don't know, in the universe of Kung Fu Panda with the type of characters and all, I could see a character like this voiced by Aquafina. It fits.
Zach, that's like saying like a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Like,
Also, somebody posted their thoughts were a 6 out of 10. I don't feel it was like totally unnecessary. I feel like it still worked. And you could have been Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, which was
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that.
Yeah, that.
Oh,
Oh,
movie and cartoon fan. Thank you for bringing up Founders Day. Fuck that movie. Always great seeing you stop by.
oh yeah,
Honorary
You're the man.
cool kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's practically where my ranking.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
for me. It would probably be 3, 2, 1, 4. I mean, it's 3 is probably, from what I remember. Maybe I got to rewatch them, but I really liked 3 when I first watched it. I thought the stuff with the spirit realm was really cool. But yeah, I remember really liking it.
But-
And I remember really liking the
Okay.
villain.
By the way, I have a question for you guys. I mean, I know they brought in like the villains from the other series and all. Like they brought in the villains from the first 3 movies. But what about the rest? Is anyone familiar with any of them?
No, they were just
Oh.
characters that like other masters that we hadn't seen before. Type of
Okay.
thing.
Because
They might have been in like those shows that came
Maybe.
out. Like
Yeah,
Oh
they-
yeah, Legends of Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
watched it, but then again,
But yeah, Austin, I did want to touch upon that. How where the chameleon was like, oh yeah, I was not allowed to do kung fu because I was small and lowly. It's like, bitch, do you not?
yeah.
Mantis is like this big. What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, that's what made no sense to me because she's like, "Oh, I want to be a kung fu master, but they wouldn't let me because I was small." I'm like, "Wait, but Mantis is like this small. So is there like a
Okay,
size
mantises are
limit?"
praying mantises are like maybe like around like that big. They're not
Yeah.
like this big, but they're like they're like a decent size. But like yeah, even then it's like
Did anyone else find
Very
it
dumb.
weird, like what I brought up though? Like they also brought like Lord Shen and General Kai, but they just had no lines.
yeah.
I mean,
they
to be
probably
fair,
I think it's
probably
because
couldn't get Gary Oldman back.
yeah, I was gonna
Or
say they
Jason.
probably couldn't get Gary Oldman or J.K. Simmons.
Like I'm not saying don't bring them back. It's just I just thought it was weird that they had nothing to say.
Oh
I mean-
yeah, I remembered something I actually I enjoyed in this movie. I liked the scenes with Poe's dads.
oh yeah,
I thought those scenes were pretty funny.
that was pretty fun. Those were funny, I'll admit.
I will admit the one where they're climbing up like the mountain on the little stones, and then his dad was like, "Oh, I could be tough." Jumps on the stone. Then they go through this whole thing of, "Oh my God, he's gonna fall off the cliff. He's gonna sacrifice himself," and then all of a sudden he just lands on the little
Yeah,
incline.
I was laughing quite a bit during this movie. I thought a lot of the jokes landed. I thought the comedy was pretty good.
Yeah, like,
I was like laughing quite a bit. Like it was definitely like quirky and funny, like it usually is. Jack Black is pretty great. I mean, maybe because like Aquafina is just that unfunny, it just makes Jack Black look even more funny than he normally is. That's probably why
Like,
it worked.
yeah.
But
like,
I mean,
Well-
Bryan Cranston had a lot of great lines.
Oh yeah, he did.
James Hong is always a blast,
Yeah,
and it worked. I really liked
Oh.
the comedy. I didn't think it was that bad.
Did anyone else feel like the universe of this franchise felt a bit smaller in this film?
Yeah.
yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
And plus, I'm not saying it completely lacked the emotional depth and the deepness of the other films, but it's still
It didn't hit as hard. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the emotion didn't hit as hard as those previous movies.
Yeah.
I think like you have a lot of stuff with like 2, you have like the stuff with his backstory. You 3, it's like 2 and 3 were like the big backstory movies. Because like the first one, you had like a lot of like drama with like Tai Lung and how like he went through this whole thing and then didn't become the Dragon Warrior, and like he felt like he deserved it and all that, and like you kind of see where he was coming from. And then you have Poe, who probably didn't deserve it. And then but like he actually defied the odds and like became like this underdog, typical story kind of thing, and that worked. And then the second movie you had like you found out that Poe was adopted, which was like the obvious, but they had that like in joke. It's like your father, who's a goose, isn't your father. I can understand. Yeah, and like that was that like stuff like that like made that work, and then they promised the whole thing with the third movie. And again, I don't get the hate because I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about like I've seen because I went through like I was going through stuff on Letterboxd to like kind of you know give my mind a little bit of like memory because it's been a long time since I've seen because the thing is I watched the first one a bunch of times, but then I watched the sequels like once. I remember really liking 3, and then I remember really liking 2. But I remember my sister and I because we watched 2 and 3 back to back, and we were like, "Oh yeah, 2 was really good, but 3 was like fucking amazing." Like you had the spirit realm thing was just so interesting, and like I loved how it like introduced all that, built the world even more so, like adding in that like further layer of magic and all that, and this stuff with the pandas and how they like unlocked that sort of thing. And I really liked all that. I thought that worked. And but like a lot of people just really fucking hate the third movie, and I just don't get it. Like I would dare say Kung Fu Panda 3 underrated. I would even go to say this also underrated because I just heavily enjoyed the hell out of this. It's the weakest, but that doesn't make it bad. Like I would
If
say,
I had to rank them, like, because I've already said, like, I do think 4 is the weakest one, but shit, from best to worst, it would probably go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because, like, I think 2 does have the best villain, but I just overall like the first one the best. It's kind of like what I said the other day about X versus Pearl. Like I like X more because no one thought that Ty West was going to be able to finally make a good movie, and it's like the first Kung Fu Panda film. Like no one thought it was going to be good because the trailers look terrible. So I think it's just it's the same thing with X. Like the shock of how good the first one was. You know? Plus, I actually do think the first film actually has the most emotional beats of the series.
yeah, I feel like it just, um, yeah. So if I had to rank, I mean, 2 is really good, but I barely remember it. I would say that one's probably kind of forgettable in a lot of areas because I remember like a couple things. I remember like Gary Oldman. I remember like the flashback sequences, but honestly, that's kind of it. I don't really remember much of Kung Fu Panda 2. Um, but yeah, I remember a lot of Kung Fu Panda 3. Again, I just love that spirit realm stuff. I liked, maybe that was the reason why I liked this one so much as well, is because it kind of went back to that. Like I feel like you could couple each movie, like 1 and 2 were like really about Poe, and then like 3 and 4 were about like the spirit realm stuff, and I really liked that. And I feel like, and then 5 and 6 will be about Jen's training, and then like him like, and then Poe finally becoming like that spirit master sort of thing.
I do fully
I think
expect
that
though
could
that
work.
this probably might be the last film we see Poe take action in something.
I don't
Because
think so because the thing is Jack Black is just so he's he has
I'm,
a lot of meat to him,
I
and
mean,
not I'm not just saying that because he's fat. I'm saying that because I think he just brings a lot, and I feel like if you sidelined him, then it wouldn't be as good. I feel like that would be a very poor choice by the
yeah,
creators. So
yeah. I was gonna say Poe is too iconic to for this franchise to sideline
Yeah.
him. I would say.
I don't know, maybe they might start going the legacy sequel route, like new characters being supported by the ones we've known from the beginning in smaller roles.
No. I can't see them doing that, especially if Poe is like the main character. And plus, the series is called Kung Fu Panda. Like, you can't have Aquafina's character be the main character if your series is called Kung Fu Panda. That's
what is it going to be? Kung Fu Fox?
exactly.
I know,
Like
right?
Kung
that
Fu
just
Fox doesn't have as good of a ring as Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
exactly.
like who
Or like
expected these movies to
Fantastic
be good with
Mr.
a name like
Fox.
that, Kung Fu Panda, and then like it turns out to be. I would say, and I was saying this before in the chat, like this is probably the strongest animated franchise I could think of off the top of my head. because like you have Toy Story. I mean, we all believe the fourth one sucks, except Zach because he studies gaxiology, the study of bad movies. So, and to be fair, you're not excited for 5. At least give us that. You're not excited for 5.
I'm gonna see it, but no, I'm not excited.
Exactly.
Now, because he
So-
likes 5, then it's clear the gaxiology. He has been converted to gaxiology. the whole time.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I can't really think of any animated franchises because the only other ones have like maybe one sequel. Like How to Train Your Dragon, the first 2 were really good, and then the third one was disappointing. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it was definitely disappointing.
I like the third. I like the third How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, it was good,
I did
but
see the third
in
one.
terms of the first 2, I thought the first 2 were much better.
You have the Shrek movies. The first 2 are classics. The third one sucks. The fourth one was okay.
Fourth one was pretty
I
good.
actually, it's not my favorite one, but I actually think, okay, the third film was a drop off, but I actually think the fourth film returns to the same level of quality as 2. I love it.
I wouldn't say it's as good as 2. I would say it's like maybe as good as 1, maybe a little bit less. Because
Plus,
and then
What's
and then
wrong
you have
with
Last
Shrek
Wish,
3?
which was-
Seriously, I know it's negatively received, but what is wrong with Shrek 3?
it's too much. It's doing way too
Yeah.
much. And
Yes.
it's like you have like
Yeah.
him trying to find a king, then you have like, King Arthur
Shrek
being
becoming a dad.
Becoming
doofus,
that.
the dad stuff, like the full
You're bringing
the whole
Prince.
feminism subplot that nobody fucking cares about and everybody hates because it's fucking stupid. And then you
I
have
think
all the
that's a
shit.
And then there's not to mention they made Prince Charming pretty much who was the least interesting villain from the second movie.
A couple of
the
these beats feel like the next logical step. Okay, Shrek has to accept being a dad, and then Prince Charming wants revenge. That
Boom.
fits.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because the thing is, it's cliched and predictable, but it's like I feel like that, like kind of again, like just because it's predictable doesn't make it bad. Like
No.
sometimes,
No.
like,
No.
and the thing is, maybe I'm just like Poe, where I'm naive. I didn't expect the twist with the fox. I didn't expect that was Jen. I forgot her name for a second. I didn't expect that. Maybe just because like I was so invested with Poe that I'm like, I just didn't think of it. I'm like, I don't know. Like maybe it's just not my naivete. But
Come on,
but yeah, but yeah, overall this movie was really good. I'm glad I
don't make
watched
Shrek
it.
5 though.
Last Wish did seem to promise something.
Yeah, they did.
And Last Wish
fine.
was like everyone thought it was the greatest fucking thing since sliced bread. So I assume they're gonna bring it back to Shrek 5.
I don't think
Last
it's the greatest DreamWorks movie of all
No.
time, but it's still really good. In my
It
opinion,
is still.
my favorite DreamWorks movie is Prince of Egypt.
Mine is
Yeah,
actually the
Prince of
first.
My favorite. Mine would be probably How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Oh come on, no love for Shark Tale? No,
Phantom Zone.
Phantom Zone him.
I'm
Phantom
kidding. I
Zone.
don't like that movie.
Phantom Zone.
Yeah,
Well,
hey,
okay.
at least he doesn't like it, unlike
least he
Jay,
doesn't.
who actually likes it. Fucking idiot.
But my favorite DreamWorks movie. Funny we're talking about Kung Fu Panda. My favorite DreamWorks movie is actually the first one.
Mm.
My favorite DreamWorks movie is. Oh God, my favorite DreamWorks movie is Wall-E. No, I'm just kidding. I know it's not. Shrek 2 probably. I think Shrek 2 or
I would
hell,
have
even
to-
the first Kung Fu Panda.
Am
was
I
probably-
am I the only one that probably still prefers the first Shrek over the second one?
I do.
No, a lot of people do. A lot of people.
Yeah.
It's
Because I know
either
everyone
or.
says that the Shrek 2 is among their favorite. And I mean,
Does
don't get me
anyone
wrong, I love
notice the
Shrek 2,
trend?
but it's like
Has anyone noticed a trend with DreamWorks where the second films in their franchises are seen as the best ones? How to Train Your Dragon 2, Shrek 2.
No,
Puss in
you know what
Boots
my
2.
favorite is? My favorite is Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas.
Oh, I love that movie.
I
That's
was joking.
underrated.
I've never seen that movie.
No. Sinbad is good, man. I actually think that's.
Oh,
underrated.
you know what my favorite might be? Like, I love a lot of these movies, like, I mean, Shrek 2 and Kung Fu Panda 2 are probably some of the best, and as well as the first ones of each of those. Honestly, it might be Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit. I remember
Wallace and Gromit is awesome.
watching that so fucking much as a kid. And I'm gonna say it.
Oh,
I'm gonna say it. John, full screen me. I'm gonna say it. Curse of the Were-Rabbit deserved Best Animated Feature over Howl's Moving Castle.
boom.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I agree too. Oh, I know another. I know.
Watching won't agree.
I was gonna say. I know.
Zach, Rob, what are you gonna say?
Okay, I was gonna say. I just thought of another. I thought of an underrated DreamWorks movie, Flushed Away.
Yeah.
Oh, Flush Away's
that's a good
hilarious.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, anything with Hugh Jackman in it, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I love. You gotta love Aardman, man.
Yeah.
You know what's another?
Dude,
Oh
it
yeah,
sucks that they're shutting down, or at least that they're running out of clay, I heard.
yeah.
Chicken Run, man. Fucking love Chicken Run.
I think their last movie is gonna be a Wallace and Gromit sequel, and then I think that's it. I think that's then they're done.
Does DreamWorks own all of the Aardman movies?
I think it's like a separate Aardman production. But yeah, I'm looking at all the DreamWorks movies. A lot of them are really good. I still need to see Orion in the Dark because that looked really cool.
Orion in the Dark is a good
I haven't
one.
meaned to watch that. Oh, I'll try this one on.
You know what's surprising? Sorry, Devin, but you know what's surprising? I'm gonna let you speak. Calm down. Don't be a little bitch boy. Because you gave the angry face like, and don't worry. I just want to get this out real quick. I will say the Croods movies were surprisingly really good. I liked the Croods sequel over the first one. I think A New Age is what it's called.
Yeah.
Surprisingly really good. I really liked those movies.
I've only seen bits and pieces of both the Croods movies. I haven't seen it all the way through.
I really enjoyed them.
No, Devin, what were you gonna say?
Try this one on for size. Road to El Dorado.
That's good.
Hi.
Who's the
So
guy?
underrated.
Who's the
I
guy?
love that movie.
I mean, it does have the famous blowjob scene, so there is that.
Both is good.
Plus
Now-
the chick in that movie.
And also, it has music from. Elton John did songs for that movie.
Yes.
They're so
and
good.
Fun fact about the woman, I forget, I'm blanking on her name in A Road to El Dorado. What's her name again? I'm blanking. Anyway,
There's two.
it began with a CH, I think. Like,
Yeah.
like
Can we just call her thick? I'm calling
Shell.
yeah, Shell.
Yeah.
That was it. Fun fact about that character: the original design of her character was deemed too sexy, so they had to tone it down to the fucking version we got in the actual movie. That was the toned down version.
Nice.
Can
Oh.
you fucking believe what the original?
If anything, I think it looks better.
Yeah. Oh, John, I just thought of another underrated DreamWorks animated movie, and I think you'll probably agree with me.
Captain
Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants.
Surprisingly
Oh,
really good.
dude,
I
that movie was such a
to love that
surprise.
movie
Man.
as much as I did. But the thing is, like, it brought all those good, like, childhood memories back. But it's also, like, a genuinely really good movie. I think it combined all those books rather well into one movie.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. That was really, really good.
Yeah, that
There's
was really
two-
good.
There's two DreamWorks movies that I actually. One is B movie.
Thank you.
No.
I'm surprised you didn't play the Phantom Zone clip.
No, I wasn't even gonna give him that
Now
respect.
You're going
No,
to die.
no,
Doot, doot, doot. Oh,
no. We're not
you
doing
little shit.
we're
Right.
not doing
Kick.
B movie memes. We're not doing that shit. No.
here comes
Stop
the
it.
sun. Doot,
Anyway, I'll let you speak.
here comes
What, you don't like Jerry Seinfeld as the B?
I like Jerry Seinfeld. In Seinfeld.
I don't.
You don't like Barry Benson, the B?
Hey, John.
Um,
John.
you don't like his little bee sweater?
Here
Um,
comes the sun. Doot, doot, doot.
The other one is Rise of the Guardians. That's another.
Oh yeah, that's
Rise of the Guardians is awesome.
It's
Rise of
such
the
a good movie.
The Bad Guys is also really good.
I like
Yeah.
the bad guys.
Again,
Oh
enough,
fuck!
I
You know
think
what?
that also had Aquafina in it, but that one was a lot better.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
see if I have the DVD. I'm gonna show y'all underrated DreamWorks. 1 second.
Oh God, is it gonna be
But
What do you
like?
the
guys-
thing is, the great part about
Don't tell
that
me it's
movie is it had the greatness of Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, and Richard Ayoade. So that talent made up for the fact that Aquafina was in it. So give it that. Oh no. Right dude, he's disconnected. I don't know what's up.
Okay. Please
Also,
don't tell me it's Boss Baby, Zach.
No, please.
No,
stop.
you want underrated DreamWorks?
That's a DreamWorks movie?
I don't think so.
Is it?
It can't be. No way.
Huh?
Is it?
Nope,
No,
All
it's
right,
not.
Google.
Because I could have
Isn't.
sworn it is.
Nope.
Oh, it's not. Well, shit. But still, excuse me.
Whoa.
To answer your thing on Aardman. So, yeah.
Monsters vs. Aliens isn't a bad one either.
Monsters vs. the Aliens is quite good. So I'm gonna look at Ants was really fucking good. I didn't expect Ants to be.
I love ants.
The only
Yes.
bad thing about Ants is that Woody Allen is in it. Outside of that, the movie is
Woody Allen.
spectacular.
What's wrong with Woody Allen?
He's
Okay.
a pedophile.
Oh,
He buried his daughter.
what do you guys think of the? What about? Have you guys talked about the Madagascar movies?
Madagascar
Ooh,
is good.
Madagascar,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Very
first
good.
one was
They're
good.
okay.
The
Honey
sequels-
iced tea.
The sequel, I remember watching the second one. I thought it was fine. I heard the third one was surprisingly good. Co-written by Noah Baumbach. Fun
Yeah.
fact: he really needed to pay that alimony.
Yeah.
Well, still, even if this isn't DreamWorks, still an underrated movie. Watch it.
Mhm.
It's a great book too. I don't know if y'all know that about the book.
Yeah.
Oh, I read the
Well-
book at school.
I don't remember the book, but because I'm looking at all the list of DreamWorks movies too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
so.
looking at right now. I
Oh
haven't.
yeah.
No, you
go on.
go. You go. You go.
I was gonna say, how about Pompoko DreamWorks edition, aka Over the Hedge. Yeah.
Ah,
I didn't like Over the
I
Hedge.
love
Yeah.
Over the Hedge.
you know what? Over the Hedge, the movie, bad. The game, fucking fire. I remember playing that game so much. Oh my god, I love that game.
The only
Over
thing I
Hedge.
could really hold against Over
That
the
was my
Hedge
favorite.
is the liar revealed story, but
I remember.
Honestly,
I remember
it's
a lot
just
of it being dumb. Even as a kid, I remember a lot of it being dumb.
I just like the camaraderie between the characters and more or less the performance of the actors. Like, you got freaking William Shatner in this movie, I think.
it's. I mean, if you think
William
about it, it's
Shatner,
practically.
Bruce
If
Willis.
you really think about it, it's Pompoko minus the Tanuki
Ball
testicles.
sex.
Yes.
I was being more blunt about it, but yeah, even then, Pompoko is not really that good either. But you know, it's okay. But yeah, it's But I remember watching this, and I remember texting the group chat. Rob was fucking laughing at us. I'm like, this is just Over the Hedge, but Japanese. Like, this is literally just
that
Over the
one.
Hedge.
Yeah.
The ball sack movie.
Yeah.
Technically, they weren't, raccoons. They were tanukis, because tanuki, it's a different thing. Not raccoons. Tanuki. But yeah,
But still, a lot of ball sack.
A lot of ball sack for a children.
Yep.
Wait, so
pretty
is
much.
the Wallace and Gromit movie coming out this year?
I don't know when that's coming out. I think it might be coming out next year or the year after. I don't know, but it's not coming out this year.
Yeah.
Oh, another great Aardman one. It's on my top 5 actually. Shit, what was it? Early Man.
I like Early Man.
I didn't
Never
see that
heard
one.
I'd say Early Man was Aardman's most underrated.
Oh no, I do remember that one. That one was like the Bronze Age versus the Stone Age, right?
Yeah, like
Something
the one where
that.
they're playing soccer.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch,
I will say,
watch
Mr.
Early
P.
Man,
In terms of
Devin. It
DreamWorks,
is-
Mr. Peabody and Sherman was quite good. I remember liking that one.
Yeah, it
I've
was
only
one of
seen
my-
I've only seen bits and pieces of that one. I
Yeah.
haven't seen the whole thing.
It was one of my favorite films of 2018. I think it was number it's 8 or 7 on my list.
Let's see what else is there.
So I will say I did get a that trailer for the Wild Robot, the next DreamWorks movie. That looks really fun. I was looking at this trailer. I'm like, wow, this is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that did look really awesome.
What is this?
Well, the Wild Robot. It's the next DreamWorks movie. It's coming out in September. It looks like September 20th.
I think so.
What about Spirit, Stallion of the Shimmeron?
Haven't seen it.
I remember thinking that one was okay.
I remember watching that one recently because I was going through a bunch of animated films I wanted to watch. I watched that one. Couldn't tell you a thing about it except for the fact it's about horses. That's all I remember.
I know Matt Damon. He narrated it. And,
No, Devin. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
And my grandma, who was Scottish, she would always say Spirit as Spirit.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of underrated, Spirit. I love that one.
I just mentioned that.
Yeah.
And
like I said, I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, Spirit is literally my sister's favorite movie. Hi, Sarah.
But yeah, anybody else have anything to say about Kung Fu Panda 4?
Maybe we can speculate what we would want from a 5 and 6, how we would want it to go.
I think what would be really good is if it was like 5 was more about them being a team and how it was like more like training, but like they were off like on adventures and stuff. Like she had a lot of her training, but she still needs to do a bit of it. And Poe is still kind of struggling with being the spirit leader. So I feel like that could be good. And then 6 would be finally her becoming the Dragon Warrior, like fully. Poe becoming the spirit leader of the Valley of Peace, and then that's it. I don't want to see some heroic sacrifice horse shit. Poe is spirit leader, Jen is the new Dragon Warrior, and that's how we end it. Got that? DreamWorks, don't fucking make the same mistakes Disney has, motherfuckers. And you better make good live action remakes too. Don't follow that bullshit of making at least make them good. I know you're still making it. Just make them good, please, for the love of God.
They shouldn't do them. No.
They shouldn't do them, but I'm still praying that they're
How
good.
to Train Your Dragon anyway?
What?
Why the fuck are they even remaking How to Train Your Dragon anyway?
It's popular.
Money.
You've got to have money.
The only thing I could really see is if, like,
We've got to have money.
you know what they could do? Like, kind of like how what I would want to see out of a Jurassic Park movie, directly follow the book.
That could be okay.
They should make a live action B movie.
Then it wouldn't be live action
John?
because it's bees.
John,
Yeah, hold on.
It's just a guy.
That's the way you want to, you little shit. Fine.
oh, one last thing before we wrap up. This is probably just my opinion, but for this to be the lowest budget out of the 4 films, but yet I think this is the best looking animation.
I will say the animation was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, he was too.
Yeah, legit. I think this is the best looking Kung Fu Panda film. I don't know how they did that with it being the lowest budget of the 4, but they did.
Yeah. But nobody else really has anything to say. We kind of got all of our thoughts out now, but yeah, me and Zach really like this movie. Everyone else kind of sort of liked it. Mark hated it, but but yeah,
Oh, he hated
we'll
it? Holy shit.
yeah, he didn't
Yeah, he
like
didn't
it.
like it.
But yeah, that's kind of it. What's our next review again?
Our next review is going to be, Zach, do you want to announce it?
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
Woo!
Yeah,
Of which
I think
I
my
already-
theater started to sell the Ecto Cooler slushies, so I might get
Yeah.
one of those when I see it.
Yeah, and I will be the one hosting it, so.
Oh, I
Yep,
thought Zach.
I already got my ticket.
No,
I am
no.
going. I already got my ticket. I'm going Friday,
Okay.
the 22nd, 12:30.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
So that's it.
Yep.
But yeah, and remember, see you on the other side.
Once again, we have brought light to the world. You're welcome.